Hey, good morning, guys. Sorry, the allergies are kicking a little bit this morning, so my I'm a little congested, but I'm gonna try to finish. This is the typical obsidian that comes from Arizona, up in the up near the rhyolite domes up there, the extinct volcano. So it's pretty cool. It's almost like half between dacite and half between obsidian. I really like it. A lot of it does have crystal pockets and inclusions. It can snap along those lines. But here's one that I just biface super fast out up there. So I didn't have to carry the whole rock back, and then I'm going to work on it right now and try to get a point out of it. So, okay, here we go. Now, obsidian, you have to really grind the edge well because it'll just collapse because it's glass. It's so fragile. I was over grinding. Friend Colby helped me with the raw flint. I was probably over grinding the raw flint a little bit and making the edge too stout for the antler. Copper can handle it, and I'm going to use the copper paddle today to show you how it just peels this obsidian away. But copper can handle the stouter edge, but antler, needs a little bit sharper edge to grab onto. So that was good. That thinned the tip nice. Ah, don't do that. That was a nice flake. Okay, now what I'm looking for, any high spots that are that need to be taken down. So like here's a high ridge right here. I'm going to try to raise this edge a little bit. Okay, gonna grind it. Now that leading edge sticks out to that side on the high spot, so hopefully I can get the flake to travel. That's gonna be a good flake, I heard it. Whoa, that's what I'm talking about. That took off some mass big time. Okay, now that I remove that mass, now I have a hump here, so same thing. There's a fat piece there. I think I'm going to have to knock that off before I go back to this side. took a lot of that high spot off. That flake broke. That was good. It dove in a little bit, which is kind of weird, but it did get a lot of that mess out of there. So again, I'll come from this side and meet it up. See if I can get that. Bit of a high spot there. That was a pretty good flake there. Tip has a little bump right there. You don't want to get the tip too sharp yet and too thin because it's so fragile. The shock waves through the point while you're percussion, it can break it. So getting it in the basic shape, I want to leave a little bit of thickness there. Okay, this side's really nice and smooth and has good convexity and everything. This side now has some work to be done. There's kind of like a dip from those bigger flakes from before. So let's work on that, and then we'll work on this base. So one side of the base is way in there, so obviously I need to bring that in. I'm going to lose a lot of length because the natural stone was at an angle. See if we can maybe run one along that ridge right there from the corner and get some of this mass off. Building up that platform. Grind the hell out of it. Ooh, doggy, is that... Ooh, doggies, that was the exact thing I wanted to happen. That was a super good flake. Wow. That really cleaned that up. As you can see before, it had that real high ridge. Okay, now there's like a high bump here and you can see looking straight in there's a high spots here, so I got to remove flakes that. So I'm gonna raise the edge a little bit. You always raise the edge to the side that you're working. You can pressure flake down to raise the edge up. You can lightly, you know, hit it with this, or you can even just get an abrader and abrade down and it'll raise it up too. Obsidian, probably an abrader is the easiest thing. Grind it. Just thin the base. And then I'm going to try to run the basil thinning flakes kind of at an angle, because I don't want them to shoot all the way up through here like a Clovis and like remove a bunch of this nice flaking, because that's not what type of point I'm going for. So I definitely want to thin it, but I only want to thin from about here to here. So I'm just going to try to angle them if I can. So see, there's one. It only went to about right there, and really thin that out. Let's do another one. Space those flakes out. There's another one. There's another one. Another one. So that really thinned out that base. Now I have a high spot here. I'll try to get it from this side. A good flake. See how that sticks out? What's basically happening here is my paddle is just a blunt, flat paddle, but as I've been using it, it's kind of thinner on this end and there's like a point to it. And so what I envision happening is it's coming down like a guillotine, it's striking across the edge, building up pressure till it finally grabs, and then it releases that flake. And if you can do flakes from the very, very edge and get them to flake across like that, you're losing a lot less width. Wow, that was nice. And then every time you take a thinning flake like that, it kind of leaves a high spot next to it, but then it also builds a ridge that it'll go pretty good. Okay, need to work on the base a little bit more. Not really trying to thin the base too much anymore because I already did. I'm just trying to get these little humps off, so just take smaller flakes to get that off. Just a very light little strike. So I can get the rest of that cortex off. Okay, that's good enough. I'll get the rest of that with pressure flake. Okay, what's up with this side? It's pretty decent shape, but I gotta get these high ridges off, so. There we go. Let's try to get some of this. I should be doing pressure flaking by now. I'm just trying to see how far I can get with this copper popper. I'm just going to do a couple more and then we'll move on to that. Oh yes, that was really nice. This side has a little bit of convexity to it now, at least. Nice flake. One little high spot I'd like to get a flake in here, and then I am done. Okay. Alright, that's the basic biface, just with percussion until you drop it and break the whole damn thing. Just kidding. But, yep, that's the whole thing. So let me move to the pressure flake stage.
You lucky bastard. Who's that? You lucky bastard. What? From the little Jada's pet, are we? What?
So let's start pressure flaking. Here was that biface I did, just with percussion. So here comes the pressure. So all we're doing is looking for opportunistic places where there's high ridges and stuff where we can flake down. So anytime I start pressure flaking, I just kind of raise the edge a little bit and get a nice working edge. So I'm going to come down. Obsidian, if the edge is too thin, it just collapses when you try to pressure flake it. So just on both sides, I'm just giving it tiny little flakes just to strengthen the edge is all I'm doing. Okay, grind it. Okay, so there's a high spot here. Let's try to get that. That. There's a high spot here. There's a nice flake run from there to there. High spot here. There's a nice flake. Okay, let's do the same thing on this side. Look out, baby, you're gonna get hurt. This is obsidian. The other rocks is better. Come on, over here. Come on, Diego. Are you visiting today, huh? You visiting? You visiting your friends? Just my father-in-law's puppy. Come on, come over here. Okay, break for the Diego. He needs some attention. Again, just strengthening the edge a little bit. Ridge or a high spot here I want to get. Got that big flake. Look out, guys, this is obsidian. This is bad. It's been hot already here in Arizona, and it's pretty tough napping outside. I got to build a shed with air conditioning, but this morning it's cloudy. It's supposed to rain this weekend, so I got a little break, so I figured I'd come out here and do some napping. Got to take advantage of it every chance we get. It's slippery right there. That's a really nice flake. I got bad habits working on obsidian because it's so easy to flake. It's more brittle, but I can just do the pressure up here freehand in the air. But that flint and stuff, you have to use your legs and bring it way down and use your legs to get extra power to squeeze together. But this stuff, you can just use your regular hand power and do it. So I had trouble trying to pressure flake some of that more raw harder flints and stones because I'm so used to working on this stuff. This is what I get here locally. Man, look at that thing peel off. And then as you build convexity and get a more lens profile, the easier the flakes travel and they just start going farther and farther. So it's kind of cool how pressure flaking.
Don't drop that dun-dun-dun. Hey, don't drop that dun-dun-dun.
Okay, let's see if we can get rid of some of these crunchies on the tip. Look how that cleaned that up. All that crunchiness is gone and now there's clean flakes there. So that was exactly what I wanted to do. Let's do this side, same thing. All that crunchiness is gone. I got one little high spot there. Looking good. Okay, got a little bit more mass here. I'm gonna try to send some flakes through there. Gonna build that edge again. I'm not trying to take big flakes. I don't want to lose width, so I'm just taking little tiny flakes here. Again, a braiding down can raise the edge up too. Make sure I'm in frame. Starting to put inward pressure on some of these flakes and get them to run across a little bit farther. Took some of that hump out. Okay, this side has a lot more nice pressure flakes running in, and this side's kind of the old scars from the percussion, so I'm going to send some flakes across that side. Just dulling it. I usually use a copper nail or copper wire pressure flaker, but I'm learning the bone and stone and abo, so that's why I'm using just a bone pressure flaker today, or Antler. On Obsidian, the Antler sends some pretty nice flicks across. I like it. And now we're just trying to straighten all that edge up and get rid of thick spots. Whoa, that flake went from there to there. That was a good one. They're starting to fly now. Really coming along. All right, now what I'm going to do is zigzag this bottom a little bit so they can get a little bit better working edge there. Actually, it's kind of beveled already. I'm going to try to shoot some flakes here. You can see how that bevel leans to this side, so let me just grind it and I'll try to do that first. Feel the base is starting to bevel. Hey, be nice. That side's beveled pretty good down at the bottom. Now I have to raise this and try to shoot some back there. I'm not used to the Antler at all, but I really want to learn it, so. I'll probably end up doing two type of videos, blades with modern tools, and then blades and points with abo, you know, just to show both. But man, that copper paddle that I work can really thin this stuff down really nice, so be hard to get away from that. But I am getting better with the bifacing with the Antler. All that ugly cortex is almost gone. This side's a little higher. Man, what a beautiful point. That's awesome. Just something about flint knapping, man. Really enjoy it. trying to take some of this edge off. It's a little bit high compared to the other side. Now she's coming along. Alright, I'm going to thin the base just a tiny bit more. That way when I do the notching it's easier. And that'll be that for that. And then we'll move on to the notches and then the final sharpening the tip. I'm going to do the tip at the very end, otherwise it's just going to break. So